Grounded. My name is Desiree, for those of you who don't know. I also like to call myself Dip the Witch because Dip's my nickname and I'm a witch. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. So, we are going to be talking about the dark side today, and I am so excited because I feel like everyone needs to know this information and everyone needs to get in touch with their dark side. Can you say hi, JoJo? Can you say hi? No? Okay, so we're going to be talking about the dark side. Before we get started, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you turn on the notification bell so you can get notified whenever I upload. I know I haven't been uploading, but I am going to be uploading a lot of new stuff, so be on the lookout. I wanted to talk about the dark side because, like I said, I feel like I get distracted so easy. I don't feel like I get distracted so easily, but I feel like that everybody needs to know about this, and people should be more open to working with their dark side and dark energy and all of the dark matter and things like that that are out there in the world. Now, when people talk about dark energy, dark matter, dark side, everybody also always jumps straight into the negativity, like straight into the deepest end of like demons and the devil and all of that, and it's not like that at all. So with the dark side, when I'm talking about the dark side, I'm talking about the dark side of you. So if you have any fear, it's because you fear what may come up from you, about you, that you don't want to talk about or that you don't want to accept. So there's a lot that goes into working with your dark side and learning about your dark side and integrating your dark side. There's so much I could talk about, and I will eventually. But today I'm just going to go into the basic surface of what the dark side is when I talk about it. And I'm going to say when I talk about it or how I feel or all of that, because this is what I resonate with, this is what works for me, and this is kind of my opinion and my outlook on things. I don't want anybody to change their whole way of thinking because of me. I don't want anybody to feel like they have to think the way that I think, because you don't. It's at the end of the day, it's really about whatever feels right to you. If you're here and you're still listening and you're watching what I'm talking about and you're interested in what I'm talking about, then you're in the right spot. You're in the right place. And hi. The dark side. We were talking, like I said, the dark side of you. This is gonna be the crazy, kooky, ooky, spooky, creepy, all of those things about yourself that you may have pushed back or may not feel like you are able to express because of society, family, friends, the world in general, whatever it is. So with the dark side and how it works, these are the parts of ourselves that we don't express to everybody. We have to recognize that when we are introducing ourselves to someone, that depending on who they are, how we know them, how long we've known them, and how comfortable we are with them, we are introducing ourselves differently to every person. If you ask one person that you knew 10 years ago if they know you or about you, they're going to say totally different things from somebody who may have met you yesterday or today. Why is that? That's because we are changing constantly. This is an experience. This life that we're living is just a big experience that we're here to feel, we're here to think about, we're here to just enjoy. With this experience, we go through certain situations and certain feelings and emotions and a lot of things, and we end up creating memories and creating different things about ourselves and becoming more of who we are. Now, depending on how you were raised or trained, as I like to say,
that's gonna get some negativity.
But it is trained. You are here and you are basically trained from the beginning. You are trained by your parents, then you are trained by society, then you are trained by school, then you are trained by a job. You're trained, basically. So depending on how you were trained, depends on what type of stuff is pushed back into your dark side. If you had traumatic experiences when you were younger, and the reason I talk about this and the reason I say that a lot of people go all the way to the dark end is because when I say the dark side, it's kind of like your dark side is a defense mechanism. This is you creating certain logic. So we have experiences, right? I'm getting lost. We have experiences, something happens, and then we use our thinking mind, our conscious mind, to interpret what this means for us. So the simplest example I can give is when a baby touches a hot stove or something hot. If they touch it and they burn themselves, they're either going to learn like, okay, we're not going to do that again, or they do it again until they eventually learn to not do it. So with our dark side, these are things that we feel like we have to change or hide, or they're not normal, or whatever it is that is coming up, whatever it is. It's kind of like a defense mechanism. It's our way of adapting. We all adapt to our surroundings. We adapt, right? So when you are having these experiences, when you're on this journey of life and you have experiences, if you don't allow yourself to go through the experience, and you're like Nemo and they swim over the trench and not through it because it looks scary and deep and dark, y'all gotta watch a whole bunch of Disney movies, because Disney be laying out some truth. And y'all don't know about it because nobody's talking about it, nobody thinks about it. But that saying alone, going through it instead of going over it, means so much when you're on this experience, when you're on this journey. That sounded weird. When you're on this journey, that means a lot. Why? Because when you think about facing the darker parts of yourself, or the parts that maybe society doesn't believe is right, or the parts that your family doesn't believe is right, when you start to work over those instead of working through them, you create shadows. And I am going to do a whole video about shadows. I believe I've done one before, but I am going to do another one. But you create shadows. And what shadows are little parts of yourself that you have pushed back that comes through and it manifests in your life. I'm going to make a video about that too. But you create shadows. You create these parts of yourself that are very authentic to you. It may be something that makes you genuinely happy, and you feel like you can't do it because you're afraid of what people will say, or how society will look at you, or how your family may interpret it. But at the end of the day, like I said, this is a journey, and the point of this journey, or the point of this experience, is to enjoy it, to become your most authentic self, to do what makes you happy. Anybody who is doing what genuinely makes them happy is successful in their own way. The problem is we often take our experience and look at other people's experience, and we base our experience off of theirs. Well, they have this, so this is what I need to be happy like them. But the thing is, if you don't know what makes you happy, how can you manifest those things into your life? Or once you get those things that you think will make you happy and then they don't, then what? A lot of times people get stuck in this cycle of just trying to live a certain way or be a certain way that isn't authentic to them. And that's where working with your dark side and working with that dark energy and dark magic and black magic and all of those things come through. Now, like I said, if you're not into witchcraft and you're not trying to work with magic and stuff, cool, you don't have to. But as far as working within yourself and working with your inner being, I believe everybody should do that. I always tell people, I believe everybody should be spiritual. Everybody should look within themselves to find the hope and the comfort and the peace and the happiness that they seek outside of themselves. Now, when people ask me like, well, if you're spiritual, then you can't be religious, or are you religious, things like that, I'm always like, look, for me, when I looked within myself and I really figured out what makes me happy and what makes me want to get up and do things throughout the day, it wasn't religion. Now, for other people, when they look within themselves, when they learn about themselves, maybe religion does come up for them. Maybe that is what genuinely makes them happy. And that's cool. That's fine. If that's what you want to do, I am here for it. I support you all the way. But the hardest thing about ourselves, and the hardest thing to face when you're working with dark energy and yourself and your inner dark goddess, dark god, whatever you want to call him, her, or they, when you are working within, the hardest thing to accept is, one, that you are not always right. What works for you may not work for somebody else. And two, realizing and understanding and being able to accept that some people think a different way, and some people genuinely feel that that is right for them. I don't feel like I have to bash or I have to talk about anybody who's religious, because at the end of the day, if they are grounded in their beliefs, then it's not going to matter what I say. Just like I'm grounded in my beliefs, nobody's going to tell me like, oh, well, you're doing the devil's work, and I'd be like,
maybe.
I don't know. No, but I'm just saying, just an example. I'm just doing what makes me happy. I'm doing what feels right to me. And that's because I've worked with myself and I've figured those things out about myself. We all have this dark side, like I said. It's from the world, it's from society, it's from media, it's from our family, it's from our friends. We all have this dark side that we all need to tap into. That dark energy, once you work with that energy and once you figure out yourself and who you are, and the only reason I call it dark energy, it's not because it's bad, it's just the energy that's in the shadows. It's in the dark. It's the part that we don't allow to come through for us. That's the only thing I mean. I don't mean like, oh, it's of the devil or whatever it is that people get scared of. It's not something that is always scary. We have to notice that from our shadows, we can learn a lot of great things about ourselves. A lot of times people tell us like, oh, you're this and you're that, and sometimes you may not be able to see those things for yourself, but everybody around you can see it. Like, why? If you work within yourself, you'll be able to see those things for yourself. Like, everybody always tells me I'm a great leader. And for a long time, I was just like, yeah, sure, whatever. I never claimed that because I just felt like, I don't see it. And then once I started working with myself and I started really looking at everything that I do and how I am, I was like, girl,
you are a leader. You lead. All of that.
I started to accept that for myself, and then I was like, look at me learning about myself. I always tell people, if you don't know you, who the are you introducing to everybody else? No one has been with you for your entire life but you. That includes parents, that includes it. Nobody has seen all the weird, crazy that you've done in your life but you. So at the end of the day, you have to get to know yourself. You have to work with that energy and work with the darker side of yourself. Find out who you are. Maybe you are supposed to be an accountant and that's what works for you and that's what makes you happy and you live to be an accountant. For me, that's not it. For me, I woke up and I was like, bitch, I'm a witch. Hi, how are you? and once I figured that out about myself, once I worked with myself, I learned so much about myself. And I learned how past experiences that I had on this journey were still affecting me to this day. And you have to learn that with that dark side, sometimes it is scary stuff that we don't want to acknowledge and we don't want to feel. But again, we are here for an experience. We are humans. Feelings are unconscious. They come through like breathing and blinking. You breathe and blink unconsciously. It just happens. Emotions and pain and feelings are unconscious. They come through whenever they feel like they have to come through. And that's where you have to take the initiative to be more conscious and aware and being like, look, my body's trying to tell me something. I need to feel this, and then I need to learn from it, get from it what I need to get from it, and move forward. If you don't work through those things and you allow them to play a role in your life, you're going to continue to manifest that you don't want. If you have anything in your life right now that you don't want, it's most likely due to a shadow. You can say and have all the vision boards you want that say all of these things, but if you haven't worked on yourself, it's just simple. It's simple like that. Okay, so the big thing is, like I said, this is a journey. This is a story. And you have all of these things playing a role in your life. You have religion, you have society, you have family, you have friends, you have media. You have all of these different things playing a role in your life. And they all make you think like, okay, so maybe I'm supposed to do it like that. Or maybe I'm supposed to do it like this. Or maybe I should do this. My mom said I should do this, so maybe I should do that. My grandparents said I should do this, so maybe I should do that. But at the end of the day, this is your journey and your story. You are the writer. You hold the pen. If you allow someone else to write your story, it'll never be authentic to you. And that's the big point that a lot of people don't think about. When you start to work with yourself and you start to work with that inner being and you become one outside and inside, and you start to see how when you have that balance, you have a balance of confidence and shyness. It's all about balance. It's not having one thing overpower the other, or because too much of one thing can always turn into a problem. If you are overconfident, maybe you're too arrogant or whatever it is. It's all about having that balance and knowing what feels right to you and being able to voice and be aware and be confident enough to be like, look, I don't like that. This is not going to work for me. So this is what I'm going to do. Once you get to know yourself, your relationships will get better, because that's a whole nother story, and trust me, I'm gonna have a video on that. But with the relationships, everybody's like, oh, it's all about communication, it's all about communication. But if you don't know what to communicate because you
don't know what you want, because you don't know who you are, because you haven't worked with your dark stuff, and you haven't figured out who the fuck am I.
How can you get someone else to understand that? A relationship is all about communication, for sure, yes. But if I don't know how to effectively communicate what I feel, what I believe, and what I think, then how am I going to get somebody else to understand that? Makes it hard. So a lot of people will ask, like, okay, well, how do I work with the dark side? How do I meet her? How do I meet him? How do I meet them? How do I meet this inner goddess of myself? So the best way is to just feel what you feel, work through what you need to work through, and really sit within yourself. Call her forward. If you haven't watched Conjure Queen, go watch her. Do the black candle in the mirror, and that is a great way to get started. And if you're too scared to do that, sit in the shower in the dark or something and just really listen to yourself, feel yourself, talk to yourself. People think it's so crazy to talk to yourself, but in reality, when you're thinking, you can hear that thinking thought in your head, right? You're literally talking to yourself. That's your higher being, your intuition. Talk to yourself, girl. Get to know you. Or sir, whoever you are, get to know you. And then you'll be able to express yourself easier, and you'll be able to know, like, okay, well, this is what I want, this is what I like, this is how I feel. You have to work within yourself. Of course, being more conscious. I will be talking about being more conscious on this channel. So it's a lot that goes into it, but that's just the basic surface of the darkness. If you made it to the end of this video and you just want a quick recap, or if you just want to skip ahead and you just, yeah, I caught you skipping ahead just trying to see what it's about. If you're already at the end, let me give you a brief summary. The dark side of you is the side of you that you do not express to the world because you may think it's crazy or weird or whatever it is. It's generally the most authentic part of you. In order to work with it, you do need to be more conscious, and you need to work on anything that may be manifested in your life. Start to work with this dark energy and integrate this dark energy, you'll start seeing the things that you say, the things that you think, manifesting into your life. Success, money, whatever it is. I don't feel like people are being too ambitious when they ask for things, when they're working with this energy, because it's there for you. So use it. Again, dip the witch. I'm out.